Proud gemologist who could use more coffee. Can we just do an IV drip? IV drip of coffee, can I do that? This looks like it could hurt Superman. Is this kryptonite? That does look like it could hurt This literally looks like something out of a movie. What movie though? So this is not kryptonite. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it's probably Heliodor. So I know this because that like light kind of greenish yellow hue, which we'll talk more about. So Heliodor is a member of the Beryl group family. Heliodor is related to emerald, morganite, goshenite, aquamarine. But today is not about those stones because we've talked about that, and you all know a lot about aquamarine, you know all about emerald, and we've talked about them. So today we're going to talk about Heliodor, which is maybe a lesser known member of the Beryls. And I'm actually really excited because I've worked with some Heliodor in the past, and it was a super cool stone, and I kind of started to fall for it. I caught the feels, y'all. I caught some feelings. I'm going to swipe right on Heliodor. On the wings of love, up and above the clouds. So the coloring though, it comes from ferric iron, which is Fe3+. So the color though can kind of range. So you're gonna see the yellows, the greenish yellows. You're gonna see kind of like warmer yellows as well. And that all just depends on the chemical composition. So you really don't know what you're gonna get. But that is why I always want you all to not cite ID and test your stones, because you know, maybe you see this and you think it's a citrine, you know, the coloring, it can kind of fool you. So that's why we advocate on this channel never to cite ID. Another thing that's super cool is that Heliodor can actually exhibit chatoyancy, which is the cat's eye, which we've talked about before. You all know how much I love cats. Meow. But it also can very rarely exhibit asterism, and that is the star that we've talked about in the past channel. And since my team at JTV is so awesome, I have a funny feeling that as I'm saying this, they're popping a link up on this side of the screen with a link to some other videos for you to learn about chatoyancy and asterism. So in the business, you are gonna hear the terms Heliodor, Heliodor, and Golden Beryl used. They're interchangeable. I have actually heard probably Heliodor more at GIA and Golden Beryl more in the field. But just to let you know that if you're hearing those names, they're referring to the kind of greenish, yellowish variety of beryl. All right, y'all, I have lots of pet peeves. In the business, my pet peeves are misnomers. So what's a misnomer? It's basically calling something by a different name that makes you think the stone is more valuable or rare. Some people will refer to Heliodor, Golden Beryl as yellow emerald, which is not the case. So emerald is often colored by vanadium and chromium, usually chromium. Heliodor is colored by ferric iron. So the reason that people have misnomers, it's kind of like a sales technique. You know, emerald is so valuable and everyone knows emerald and people love emerald. But when you are talking about yellow emerald, you're making this stone seem different. You're like selling it different. And in the business, there's tons of misnomers. But again, if you are shopping for a stone, if you are at a trade show, if you are out in the field, that is why I'm always telling you all to not cite ID, check your source, ask questions, and use the gemological knowledge that you have, because that's gonna help you, figure out what exactly you're looking at. And also, is this a misnomer? Is someone calling this something that they shouldn't? So one of my favorite things about the business is learning about where the names come from. And Heliodor comes from two Greek words, Helios and Doro, meaning sun gift. And this refers to beryl that's kind of that golden yellow, the kind of greenish yellow, and the yellow. Other specimens of Heliodor that I've seen, they're way more yellow. They're kind of like maybe an orangey yellow almost. They're kind of golden. At one point in time, it was thought by ancient groups that Heliodor kind of harnessed the power of the sun and was responsible for the change from day to night. And I think that's pretty cool because, a stone that is so bright, it has to have some pretty cool powers. Am I right? in the marketplace, most is irradiated, which we've talked about before, and then sometimes it's heated. So I actually went and talked to one of our senior buyers, George, and he was telling me that there's only a few mines in the world that the material from those mines will actually take like the heat and the irradiation. So what's really neat is like you may be mining this type of barrel and you want to treat it, but that treatment doesn't always work. It depends on the chemical structure, which I think speaks to how lucky we are to have this material. You really never know where you're going to find stuff. You don't know what that product is going to be like, and then you don't know how that product is going to look after treatment. So, you know, I always think that all of those steps, and we get that gemstone or that beautiful specimen, like we're pretty lucky no matter what it looks like. Sometimes, again, it depends on the material, but sometimes the Heliodor can be heat treated, so it'll be kind of like a bluish green or blue, and blue beryl is aqua. I've seen some of the treating, the like heat treatment process. I mean, it's not like you're just sticking stones in the oven and turning it up to 450 for 30 degrees or for 30 minutes. You know, it's like a pretty big production. It's a lot of heat. It's a lot of, you know, science. People that are treating these stones, whether it's with irradiation or heat, you know, these are people that have like over time learned how this material is going to react. These are people that have, you know, spent their careers learning about this, and I just think that is fascinating. So some specimens of Heliodor will contain silk, and those are basically just little parallel inclusions. And when it's cut in a cabochon and has to be cut a certain way, you know, the dome has to be a certain way, and it has to be oriented a certain way. But when it is cut well like that, you see chatoyancy, which is the cat's eye, which we've talked about. It's that single beam that reflects on the stone, or you can see on the stone. So what I'm seeing right here is the primary color, the primary hue is yellow with a secondary of green. So it's, you know, maybe slightly greenish yellow. I was expecting more of kind of a golden look, but hey, that's okay. It's beautiful, and I'm happy to have this on the channel. You know, you can see the crystal structure, you can see, you know, it's just beautiful. You can see straight through the stone. I don't see a whole lot of like inclusions or anything. So I want you guys to take a closer look at that color, that kind of slightly greenish yellow. It's absolutely beautiful. But hey, if you want to learn more about Heliodor, you can always check out the Learning Library on jtv.com, and maybe you'll find a specimen of Heliodor or a piece of Heliodor jewelry on JTV that you'll buy and you'll fall in love with, and you'll see why the Greeks thought of it as sun gift. All right, guys, this was a fun episode. I feel like, so when I was in Brazil, I worked with some Heliodor down there. So I feel like all of the information in my head, I just threw at you guys. So if you have any questions, I want you to leave me a comment. I want you to ask questions. I want you to tell me what you think about Heliodor, because this really is so much fun to share this information with you, and I want to hear what y'all have to say. So don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell, and please leave me a comment and let me know if you have any questions. I always love hearing from you guys. I love hearing how, you know, some of you want to be gemologists now or geologists, and let me tell you, that makes my day. So please leave a comment and check back next week for another episode of Unboxing.